We got a great show for you today. We got a couple of special guests.
Yes.
Welcome to the show today. We've got Josh Henriksen and Mike Henriksen, two brothers.
Yes.
They also happen to be my brothers. And I guess we'll just jump right into it. Well, before we get started, Mike did lobby. He wanted to start with our series, which we will be doing in the future, about our father. We did decide to call an audible and go in a different direction. So instead, we'll probably just be ripping on Josh.
Yes. Yeah, so Mike Sr., you earned yourself a reprieve for now. Part of it is because of the compassion that Josh and Steve both felt for you, because they know that you'll probably pout when we make fun of you. Instead, we just thought we'd reminisce about growing up, in which case really means we're mostly going to be making fun of Josh.
Yes.
And with that, I guess we can get right into it. So we did supposed to come up with a few stories. We're going to tell about our childhood growing up a bit. Josh?
In Las Vegas.
We did grow up in Las Vegas. There's 6 of us children in the family. We do have one other brother who is not here right now. He moved to Ohio, the youngest and the baby of the family. So,
Wait.
yeah. All right.
I was the number 4th kid, and that was my beeper code when I would beat my dad. And I would tell him 878-4265 911 444, which means I was in danger and I needed help.
Which actually usually just meant that he was worried because they'd been gone for like 32 minutes.
Or it meant that some of these stories we're going to tell were actually happening at the time.
I guess without further ado, Mike, do you have anything you want to start with?
So the first thing that I was thinking about was I'm the oldest sibling, and I took a great responsibility upon me as the oldest sibling to really make sure I was basically a quasi-parent. And one of my jobs was in places where my parents failed was to make sure I was teaching these kids a lesson. And so I'm going to take you back. We had some neighbors who lived across the street. Shout out to the Zigmonts. And we grew up with them. They lived there their whole life. We lived just across the street. And so we played a lot of sports. I mean, I don't know, 10,000 games growing up. I mean, everything. It didn't matter whether it was badminton or football or basketball. But generally speaking, I hope this don't sound like a flex, but I'm a year older. I was a little bit better athletically than Dave, and Josh was a little bit better than Paul. So normally when we played games, we'd have to split up, like me and Paul against Josh and Dave, to do our best to even things out. But on a rare occasion, we'd go just straight brothers. Like, that's just how it was going to go. And when it went straight brothers, it usually meant that it was going to be a pretty easy victory for me and Josh. And so, Josh, I don't know, you want to pick us up there? Like, how was the game going? I mean, I know Paul was working you like a summer job. Maybe you want to jump in right there.
For starters, before we go too far, we should point out that the good thing is that our family wasn't very competitive, so it was always nice, friendly games. Go ahead,
yeah.
Josh.
We were just there to learn.
No, well, okay. First off, no. There's a bunch of what you said was just all wrong. So you were never like a quasi-parent or anything.
Yeah, I was loving.
You were a jerk like most of the time, okay? And all you ever did was beat on us like constantly. And
I had the expectation, okay? I wanted you to level up and be like me.
No, we weren't allowed to lose. Like, that was the other thing. If you lost,
because
that
I'm
means,
not a loser.
well, it's debatable. But I can tell you,
Agree to disagree.
the game you're referencing, yes, we were brothers on brothers. And we were actually up early. And then they just went on this weird run. And it wasn't me, right? Dave was crossing you up. Your ankles were broke. He was full on just manhandling you on the court. So we were down at this point by quite a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we were down, I want to say it was 11 to like maybe 19. We always played to 21.
Oh, it was a bigger gap than that.
So regardless. So
And let me go ahead and just now cut Josh off because he's lying to you. So
No.
Paul, who had cancer and literally took a Make-A-Wish Foundation vacation, right? I mean, like, this is back in the days when that actually meant something. Okay? He is just literally just splashing threes like he's Steph Curry in Josh's face. Just there's no defense being played. And I am getting a little frustrated because I'd like Josh to level up his defense a little.
no, part of it is yes, Paul was probably making some shots, okay? But if he made one, not only did it get splashed in my face, but I also would catch a beating from Mike for letting that happen.
It's called coaching.
So Paul did make a
Motivation.
shot. And so out of frustration, they had a wrought iron fence in front of their shed, and it had like corrugated metal on the front.
By the way, we're playing to 21, right? It's like 19-6 at this point. So, I mean, like, we're literally in danger of losing, and I'm not happy.
So do you want me to tell it, or do you just want to keep
Both.
jumping in and
I'm going to
tell
keep
it
doing
yourself?
it. I reserve
So
the right to keep jumping in.
anyway, so out of frustration, I went over like we've done 1,000 times before, and I punched the fence like as hard as I could. And I remember I punched it like harder than maybe I normally do, but I also happened to hit right where there was wrought iron behind the corrugated metal. And I broke my hand. So I had a boxing fracture.
You okay?
And so
You gonna be okay?
yeah, I was actually. Anyway, so right as I hit it, I knew I broke my hand, and I was like, so I started to leave. I
Nah.
was walking across the street.
No. There's no quitting. There's no quitting in our family.
Yeah.
And you learned your lesson that
So
day.
I was walking across the street to leave, and Mike said, with some other language, asked me where I was going.
No curse words.
And I said, I'm going home. I just broke my hand. He said, get over here. Okay, little Scott Farkas, like, get over here. So I walk back. He's like, let me see your hand. So I hold my hand up. It's got a lump like the size of a baseball on it. As soon as he put it up, he slaps it as hard as he can.
It
And
was
he's-
really hard. I'm not going to lie, you guys.
and
It was really
He
hard.
said it looks fine. And then
I said it looks fine to me, and I slapped the living crap out of it.
Dr.
said,
Mike
"We're-
decided
we're
it
gonna
looked fine.
Yeah, he said
You're good to go.
We're gonna finish this game. So then, not only did he make me get back on the court, then he checked the ball back to me really hard.
Really hard every time.
So, like, I'm trying to guard my hand, but we won.
As I say, I mean-
we came back from a deficit of like 19 to 6, 7, whatever it was.
So what'd
And
you learn?
We won. I learned Mike was exactly who I thought he was. He's a jerk.
But you
No,
also
you learn
learned
to
to
be a
overcome
winner.
adversity. You learned
I guess.
You're welcome.
never to quit.
I guess.
So would it be fair, Steve, to say that all the success Josh has experienced in his life could probably be traced back to that lesson that I taught
It
him?
sounds like maybe this was the beginning of creating the man that he is today.
Yeah,
maybe.
You're welcome.
But this was kind of later in my childhood, so there was a lot of other stuff that was happening.
Well, great. I'm
before
glad you
then.
brought that up.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was wondering.
We kind
when
of
we
picked
were
up
really
in
young,
the middle.
Yeah,
so-
when we were really young, you used to do a weird thing. So you would stuff like paper in your underwear
no,
when you were sleeping,
Yeah, and then remember
No.
Mom would get...
and you'd get in trouble. You'd get in trouble for it. Can
Mom
you
would be
bring us
just
back to your
yelling at you?
headspace? Do you remember doing this?
no. So I don't know if you want a more theatrical version of what this is, but I do remember waking up in the
I
morning.
think playing it straight's pretty theatrical.
Yeah, and I would come out, and we'd like be pouring our bowls of cereal.
Yeah.
And I would be reaching into my underoos, and there's just shredded paper in my underwear. Right? And
Like
so-
wadded up and like
Yeah.
twisted and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like ripped up shredded paper. Okay. And I don't know, like, I don't know why there's paper in my underoos. Like, I was just pulling it out. And then what was worse is now I have Mom who's yelling at me, asking me why I'm putting paper in my underwear. And I'm like, I didn't put paper in my underwear. I didn't do that. Okay, I'd remember that.
Did she believe
beg to
you?
differ.
No.
Did she believe you?
No. So then she just didn't believe me. And then I would normally get in more trouble and catch like a beating or something else for that because she thought I was lying. I didn't put paper in my underwear. And the whole time, by the way, while she's asking and going through this whole thing, Mike and Steve are laughing. Like you'd think that would be a dead giveaway. And come to find out, they were the ones shredding paper when I'd fall asleep and jam it in my underwear for whatever reason.
Seems a weird
That
thing to
doesn't
do.
sound like something that I would do.
Yeah, sure.
See, I'd only believe that we would do something like that if there was some kind of pattern of behavior wherein we hazed and abused you, but I don't really recall that. So that seems like maybe that was all on you.
Now,
Well,
in the
no.
normal childhood where people go to bed and they wake up in the morning in the same place that they went to sleep in, did you ever have any other experiences?
Yeah. So, well, I was a heavy sleeper, I guess, because
And a sleepwalker, apparently.
because I would wake up in different places, like under my sister's bed, and like
Like one of those
sometimes
cabinet water beds?
Yeah,
It was hard to stop you on this.
Yeah,
This
let's
was
set
not
the
an
stage.
easy thing.
Their bed was a water bed.
Yeah.
Yes, they used to have those.
Yeah.
But it was a whole cabinet underneath, so there was actually drawers all the way around it, but there was a crawl space in the middle that kind of formed a T.
We had to like shimmy in there just to pull them through it to the right spot. So, I mean, this
Are you
took
admitting
some-
this?
No.
Okay.
One would have had to. if
What?
we didn't cram
I can
it in.
only imagine
I'd imagine what it would be like to
the
cram a dead
difficulty
body in there.
to get a fully sleeping. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, yeah. I mean, you already told it, right? But like, so I would wake up in the morning and wonder where I was at, and I was like,
What
under
are some of the
Jen's-
places you might have woke up besides under the waterbed?
Wait, the waterbed one was extra special because
Oh yeah.
if you recall, normally you wouldn't wake up right away, but your parents, your mother specifically, would start getting really worried because she'd wake up and you weren't in bed, and she'd search the whole house and couldn't find you, and she'd be screaming for you. So you'd usually wake up to her yelling,
Yeah.
and then you would emerge out,
Yeah.
and then you would get in trouble.
Because people thought I was just like playing around, and I'm like,
That was like an extra bonus for us.
I don't remember getting in there, and I definitely don't remember this little blankie and a doll and other things that were
I'd say
stuffed
were you
under
at
there
least
with
warm
me.
when you woke up?
No, because the blanket would cover like it was like a toy blanket. It was like a blanket for a doll.
So like
So you're saying that you would go to bed in your normal bed, and you'd wake up in different parts of the house
Yeah.
with a
bathtub.
tiny
Yeah.
doll's blanket,
Yeah.
And a
hugging
baby doll.
a Cabbage Patch doll or some other baby doll.
Yeah, look, it's gonna come out eventually. So let's.
What
just,
was the Cabbage Patch doll's name?
Yeah, let's just tell it what it is. I had a Cabbage Patch doll that was my own, and his name was Jacob. So, yeah, you're welcome, Jacob. Your dad liked it so much he named you Jacob. But it had curly brown hair and a tooth. Yeah.
Do you still have Jacob?
No.
Do you miss Jacob?
Sometimes. Yeah. Yes.
Was there ever a time when you were sleeping in bed and all of a sudden you just found yourself thrown, like launched in the air into the hallway?
Well, before we get into that, like I'll jump in the driver's seat on a couple things first, okay? So there was different times in my life I'd wake up and it's still in bed, but I remember being like sore, like I felt like like my ribs had hurt, and it found out later that Steve would swing from the top bunk in and kick me in my ribs because he said I would snore too loud.
Yeah.
So that's probably true. So
But he wouldn't wake
apparently-
up.
Yeah, apparently I slept through that.
But after a few kicks, you would usually stop snoring.
Yeah,
So
so-
like 20 minutes.
So look,
It was
For a
effective.
period of time.
Steve and I are a year apart. Okay. Everyone thinks I'm older than Mike now, I guess, because I'm more gray, which is fine. But me and Steve are a year apart. So, like, in my mind, I was like, why don't me and you, like, join a team and we'll take Mike out? Like, he's the oldest, right? He's a jerk. Nope. So it was always Steve and Mike against me, which
We'd
not-
already formed an alliance before you were born.
It was.
It's a little too
You don't
late.
break
So,
that.
we had this game that we used to play. So we would get put to bed, and my parents would still be out in the living room. And you have to understand the house, like,
Listening to Moody Blues.
yeah, just Moody Blues cranked with the front door open. Okay. You could go down the hallway into the kitchen. It would wrap around to the living room, back into the hallway. So there's a nice little loop. So we used to play a game where you would run down the hallway through the kitchen.
What was it called?
Called motorcycle.
Okay.
Okay. And so,
We didn't just run. So like,
yeah, you had to make motorcycle noises.
Okay.
But the other thing too is there's like a psychological aspect of it, because I was never allowed to have a Harley Davidson, right? So Mike and Steve were both Harley Davidsons, and they said I had a moped, and so
you had to make moped
I had to
noises.
make moped noises, and so I'd run down the hall.
If you want a Harley, you got to earn it.
Yeah.
We're
So
just asses. Like, it doesn't hurt us at all, but you just can't. Go ahead.
look, And so this how it'd go. Mike would run out first, and he'd gunt around, and then like my dad would be like, get him. You'd hear him yelling, stay in bed. And then Steve would go, and then he'd be like, I said get to bed. And then, by the way, I didn't learn, right? Because this happened all the time.
Yeah.
Then they're like, all right, it's your turn. And this is what you would say. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. And you guys are going to do it again. You're like, no. And then you would always say, if you do this, you'll get your Harley Davidson. So I'm like, all right. So here I go. So I go out and I make my moped noise. So I can't do a Harley. I got like, meh, like more like high pitch. I run out.
I'd imagine at this point, Dad's a little bit annoyed because
Yeah.
he's kind of spoken a couple times about
Yeah.
staying in bed.
Yeah.
Which was the game.
So
Just like trying to raise that level.
yeah, that's why I was always last. And then when I got back to my room, the door was shut and I couldn't get in. And by this time, Dad's coming down the hallway and he's now quite angry. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna
And we're
catch a
holding
beating.
the door shut.
Yeah, what,
can't get in.
you didn't know because you were on the other side is we were holding the door, listening for
Listening,
Dad
yeah.
because you could hear him coming down the hall. And as soon as he almost got
Yeah.
to you, that's when we would jump in
let-
bed,
we'd
act like we were sleeping.
And then Mike had this other thing he would do. Like if we were all in our room and like he would be doing whatever, and if I was like, hey man, be quiet, then he would start talking real loud and he'd be like, Dad, or he'd be like, shut up, Josh, or whatever. Like he'd try to like get me in trouble, right? And so
Josh, I'm trying to sleep.
yeah, that, right? And so then what
Dad's yelling from there. You guys be quiet in there.
Josh, don't make me come back there.
so there was always like two things that would happen in this type of scenario. So yeah, I was a little afraid of the dark, and so Mike would turn out the hall light, and it is too dark. So I was like, I gotta go turn on the hall light. So I get up, and as soon as I get in the hallway, then Mike would start yelling, Dad, Josh is out of bed, and then I'm getting in trouble because I get caught there turning the hall light on. Or the
Now,
worst
maybe
one.
now-
let
hold the
me
door shut again.
now let me clarify for a second. He's sleeping in a 10 by 10 room with his two other brothers, and he's scared of the dark. He
Yeah.
needs the whole light on. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes. Right? So, but what was worse is sometimes I'd fall asleep first, and that was the worst
Wasn't
thing
worse
to
for
do.
us.
So,
You're leaving one out. I'm excited. Keep going.
yeah, well, yeah. So if I fell asleep first, then half the time I would find myself flying through the air, landing in the hallway,
This is true.
looking around, wondering like what just happened. And I hear Mike yelling, Josh is out of bed, and same thing, they hold the door closed. So now my dad's coming out of his room or wherever.
There's
and then-
an art to holding that door closed for the right amount of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Just
But
to
yeah.
get to bed while Dad comes in and it's just blazing.
Because you can
Josh's
hear like
butt.
stomp, stomp, stomp.
Yeah.
Dad
Oh, yeah.
comments like we'd know
So-
exactly when to
Anyway.
jump
Sounds
in
like a
bed.
charging bull.
But yeah, so any version of all these games that you can think of, they were played.
See, one of
And-
my favorites was we would get like hold the door like mostly closed,
Yeah.
and then peek out the two of us. And
That's so awesome.
Don't let Josh see.
now keep in mind we can't see anything from our like all we could see is the like hall.
That's awesome.
But we would just and so he would just
The
start
shag
getting really interested, and he'd be like, "Let me see." We're
no.
like, no.
So I'd
Get
always
back.
be like, oh,
No.
there's nothing there. And then you'd be like, oh, it's so awesome.
But
And then I'd go, what is it? And you're like, shut up, you can't see it. And then, oh, it's awesome. I'm like, what? And you'd go, all right, come here.
And then as soon as he would get to the door, we'd shove him in the hall, scream out, "Dad, Josh is out of bed," and then slam the door.
and there was something out there for him. It was a butt whooping. for
It
Dad.
was a whipping. He would get spanked. We'd be in bed pretending to be asleep. You do your groggy thing, like Dad would fling the door open, and we'd be like, and then he'd just whip
Yeah.
Josh, and then
Old school, like he'd like rocking chair, just like bent over his knee, and I'd take a paddling.
now we got beat a lot, and sometimes with a belt, sometimes not. And usually when Dad was going to spank you, it was a whole theatrical thing. So he would take you in your room, and it would start with like him. I think he was getting amped up for the beating. I think he needed to like get the blood flowing because he'd get you in there. So first you had to deal with a little lecture, and then the lecture would kind of escalate into him like getting in your face and chest poking you, and then
You could see his teeth, like he'd be all up in your face.
like
yeah.
bottom teeth would come out and stuff,
Yeah.
and then
That's
he would like start getting all amped and stuff, and then you kind of like the spanking was coming. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then do you ever recall like any helping hands that he would
Well,
get?
there was
Yeah.
usually threats because he didn't need a belt to beat us.
Well,
course.
But
so if
He
look,
threatened it sometimes.
Yeah.
It was a little scary.
no, but see, if Dad was in there, you just knew you were catching a hand. But if Mom was in there and she was wanting to beat on you, that's when all of a sudden Mike would magically appear with a belt and he'd hang it on the doorknob for her. He's like, "Hey, Mom, I got this for you in case you need it."
He did it with Dad too.
Hey, Mom, I got
Then I
this
just
for you.
slide on out of there. Like it wasn't my business.
Which is
I
why-
wasn't being a quasi-parent. I told you.
no,
I was
I'm just
helping
gonna
out.
leave this right here.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's why he's Golden Boy. That's what I'm telling you. It's a joke.
Now, I don't know. I feel like you're painting an unfair picture, like we were ogres and we were always like punking you out. I feel like we did include you sometimes. I can recall specifically.
Yeah.
We used to go lizard hunting, go in the
Yeah.
desert and hang out,
Yeah.
and I don't know where we got firecrackers, but we got
I'll
firecrackers
tell you
from
right,
somewhere.
It was from this kid named James at Booker,
Okay.
and he sold me those black cats for 25 cents a pack.
Okay.
And
So we had
yeah.
black cats.
I had the dealer.
So
I had
we
the
were going to
source.
sneak off into the desert and blow stuff up, blow up ant hills and things of
Mostly
that
ant
nature.
hills.
Yeah.
And so we
We spend a lot of Saturdays together. We go out in the
Yeah, we
morning.
lizard.
We go lizard.
But I'm
hunt.
talking
We-
this specific time.
Yeah.
But when we lizard hunted, we brought Josh. When we knew we were blowing up ant hills, we couldn't bring him because he was a narc.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So
That's true.
Yes.
So one time, so we said, hey, this guy's always claiming that he's excluded. We said, hey, let's be inclusive.
First of all, I never claimed I was exclusive. Okay. I would maybe cry and stuff.
You've been
but
doing that for like 20 minutes, but go ahead.
No, I was just saying how I was a punching bag. But like, yeah, that's good.
So we went up, we were having some fun, blowing up some ant hills.
Yeah.
Everything was great.
Yeah.
Fun day.
There were probably threats
Hey.
about if you tell mom or dad, like, you're going to,
Lindell Desert, right?
Yeah. And no threats at this point. It was like, hey, we're going to go do this thing. This is something we don't tell.
Were we walking, riding bikes?
We
What was
rode our bikes up
Okay,
there.
so we're on our bikes.
We
Sweet.
rode our bikes everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
wrapped it up, kind
Yeah.
of probably ran out of black cats.
Yeah.
Time to head home.
Yeah. That's when the attack happened.
So we were heading down the street. It was
Ma-
Mountain View.
is it Mountain View? Mountain View,
No.
Lindell? That's what it is.
Yeah, Mountain View.
Mountain
I think it was the
and
Mountain View
Lindell.
Street.
Mountain View.
So we're start heading down. I don't know why we didn't just go down our street.
Now,
but
this is a house that we've been down 40,000 times. I mean, right? Like, this isn't, like, new to us. We know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're heading down, and you want to tell us about the attack?
Yeah. So first off, I was only 17 years old. Okay. Now, we were young, but I wasn't that young. But
All right.
Elementary school.
Yeah.
this house had
Could ride a bike.
Yeah, the house had a fence. It was wrought iron fence, but the dogs could get out. Now, why could they get out? Because they were like the size of mice, like they were real small.
They're teacup poodles.
They were miniature teacup poodles, if there's such a thing. So we go riding down, and of course, Mike goes blazing first. He's right behind him, and then I'm third. Well, the dogs come running out, right? And that's when the attack happens.
Because you didn't have a Harley.
Yeah,
So
I was on a moped. So these dogs charged me, okay? And so I did what any kid would do. I cried, and I was scared.
So we're
But
riding our
they-
bikes and we're just yelling back because we're laughing and he's crying. He's riding his bike and crying. And we're like, just pedal faster. Like it's a tiny dog. It can't even get you.
can't
And he
bite
just
him.
starts bawling.
I had to quit pedaling because I had to put my feet up because I thought I was going to get bit.
So we're like, you get to the bottom of the street.
So
We roll up in the driveway.
Mind you, they chased me for like, I don't know, 2 houses. Like
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
run us all the
Like
way.
40 feet.
Yeah. Okay. But I
Enough to
also
scar you for life. Go ahead.
I also didn't like being laughed at. I didn't like that.
you think you'd be used to it by then, but go ahead.
So we got home. We roll up in the driveway. They're still making fun of me. So I walked in the house and I said, Mom, Mike and Steve are blowing up anthills in the desert
With firecrackers.
with firecrackers.
Yeah, you narked.
I did.
So we were justified in
played
not
his
including
role.
you.
Yes.
Now, Steve, there was another time, oftentimes actually, that we included him, and he did mention his general fear for the dark. So, I mean, summer nights, Las Vegas, we're just a bunch of crazy kids. Like, what was one of the fun activities we did in the summer?
Sleep out on the trampoline.
Yeah.
So we had a trampoline in our front yard.
Yeah, we're the only idiots with a trampoline in the front yard. Everyone else trampoline in the backyard.
Not us.
Ours
Which,
was in
which
the
is a
front
whole
yard.
other story. Remember the notes people had to bring
Yeah.
and stuff? But
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
By the way, how are you all sleeping on a trampoline? It just goes to the middle.
Yeah, in the middle.
Like it's the worst idea of all time.
By the time you fall
But we
asleep,
just
you
did it all
wake
the
up in a
time.
clump, in a pile.
Yeah. Well, in
Which brings
fairness,
me to
like,
the next purpose.
yeah,
Which also, who wants to sleep the whole night on a trampoline?
Not me.
Not me.
yeah.
So
I didn't
normally at
either,
some
but I
point-
did.
So normally at some point, me or Steve would wake up very uncomfortable and just be like, "Yeah,
Cold.
this blows. It's a little chilly
Or hot,
So
whatever.
we would generally wake up just the other person, meaning me or you, right?
Extend that courtesy. Hey, I'm heading in. Do you want to go? Should we wake Josh? Nah, he looks like he's comfortable.
So
He looks like he's doing all right.
you have to understand, like, when we were kids, there was times like my dad would quite literally leave the front door open like all night, right? Porch light was always on. Door was our door was never locked, right? So if we slept on the trampoline, I would wake up in the middle of the night alone. The door's locked
Afraid
and
of the dark.
and the porch lights out. Okay, with like what I thought were for sure roaming bandits in the front of the house. So I would just sit on a trampoline, huddled in a blanket till the light came. That's it. And
were
I
you
knew
watching for?
I knew my dad was an early riser, so if the sun came up, I knew I could go knock. And I don't know why I didn't just go knock, but I thought I'd get in trouble, so I just sat out there all
probably
night.
would.
Probably would have.
Because think about all the other times you didn't do anything. and
Why'd you
got
turn the
once.
porch light off and lock yourself out?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I
What an
did.
idiot.
I don't know. There's something wrong with him, Dad. I don't know. We woke him up and said, "Come inside." He wouldn't.
Yeah. So I just sat out there, huddled in a blanket. Yeah. So
Fair enough.
my word.
I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. So I guess that that worked out.
You're welcome.
yeah.
Once
Yes.
again, yeah. I mean, I really feel like Josh should be thanking us for the person he is today.
I never thought
I
of it this
suppose.
way, but now I'm realizing that he owes us a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of good we did this.
Probably.
All right. Now, can you tell us about Bucksoft? How you got that nickname?
I don't know. So, okay. Look, it's just a different time when we grew up, and
Okay.
when we grew up, we kind of grew up on stories of my dad and his brothers, and they were kind of ruffians, and so we threw hands a lot. Like we fought people. Like that was just something we did. Like I can tell you the first time I ever punched someone. Actually, there's been numerous times in my life where I've had to punch someone, and they've all been at the behest of my brothers. Like they'll be standing there, and Mike would be like, "Josh, hit this dude in the
I
face."
commanded it.
and so you punch someone in the face.
It was somehow funner.
Yeah. So I mean,
It
we
was like Billy the Kid when he's like,
it
"You
was
will not make it."
yeah. Well, we were at Scout. I mean, of all places, right? We're at Scout camp, and we found a 2-line rope bridge. Me and Steve and his. We were all up there for Scouts. Again, Steve and I are a year apart, so we're up there together. And these kids come just like charging in. They're like, "Get off our rope bridge! That's ours!" and stuff.
Which it was theirs.
It was,
But not anymore.
They didn't have to ask like
Was
that.
his past tense.
So the one kid comes over and stands in front of Steve, and we kind of knew if someone was face to face, you knew your spot was right. You flanked them, right? So you just step off to the side. So the kid's talking to Steve, and Steve goes, "Josh, hit this kid in the face." And so I did. I hit him as hard as I could, right? And so, he went down, and it was, good time, whatever. But so Bucksoft came from.
That wasn't Bucksoft.
That wasn't Bucksoft. So Bucksoft came a little bit
He's
later
trying to make
on.
a pre-save to Bucksoft.
Yeah, I'm trying to say that
Trying to save face
this
ahead of
wasn't
time.
my first rodeo.
Okay.
But
Now, before you get into it, Bucksoft was written in letters on your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
By Mike. Did he take a Sharpie?
yeah,
And
you and Mike,
Right.
you held me down and he
Buck and soft
on my hands.
on your. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, because what happened is there was, so mind you, this is now we're a little bit older. Mike's getting a little closer to kind of being adult age, so he's like fighting less, right? And so these kids came by.
Didn't want to catch a charge.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, it would have been like a
Already had
felonious
enough
assault,
police
So
Wasn't shenanigans anymore.
I had just walked outside, and one of my friends was over. I think it was Anthony. I don't remember. But he was like, "Oh, your brothers just went around the corner. These kids are like running their mouth, right?" So I start walking that way, and it's these kids. Like there's kids in the neighborhood sometimes you just have beef with. I don't even remember the kid's name, right? So I'm walking towards them, and I saw the kid, and he kind of squared funny, but I knew Mike wasn't going to fight him, and so I was like, "I'll just go hit this kid in the face. And so right as I walked over there, this is going to sound like I'm making excuses, and that's not what I'm trying to do.
He didn't have breakfast that morning.
Yeah. But I was trying to
This is
get
my workout.
I was trying to get around Mike. And so my angle and my foot, everything was a little bit off. But I came around and I punched the kid. But
Softly.
he didn't no.
With all his might. With all your might.
I threw a punch. But he didn't go down. And so Mike was very put off by that. He's like, if you have a clean shot, like, they should go down. Now they ran away. They didn't want to fight
Yes.
us. And so
Correct.
Anyway, so then they started calling me Bucksoft because the kid didn't go down. And they're like, you like they said, I don't have buck knives or anything. I got Bucksofts. And so I was like, whatever. So then Steve grabbed me and he like held my hands down, like control my whole body. And then Mike took a Sharpie and he wrote Bucksoft on my fingers. So it wouldn't even wash off for a while. I just had to rock it for like 2
Gotta
weeks
own
for it
it.
to wear off. But
Yeah.
it's
a good nickname.
That's what I was.
Another lesson, it looks like. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Again.
Yeah. And I was only going over there to help Mike. And like, there you go.
You weren't much help with that point.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
That's why he's disappointed.
Hey, you're not helping.
Yeah.
We need people to fear us.
Yeah. Now, I do think it's worth saying so people don't feel like this was completely like some crazy situation for me. I have to admit, like, there's a lot of things I did that probably made, like, I deserved some things. Like, I could tell you,
Hey, as long as you're willing to admit that.
yeah, every one of Mike and Steve's G.I. Joes, like, I chewed their thumbs off for some reason. Like, I just would chew on
Can't hold
G.I.
a gun now.
Yeah.
Guy's
Yeah.
ruined.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Just stuff like that. So I'm
Snake
sure.
Eyes can't hold a gun anymore.
Yeah.
You know how pissed I was?
Yeah. Yeah.
We were poor. We didn't exactly
Yeah, we
have
didn't
a lot
get-
of guys.
we weren't
right?
getting
When
another
we got
one.
a guy that
Yeah.
was important to us.
So,
Not to Josh.
yeah. So there's things like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
What else?
So,
Can you think of any others?
of what? Stuff I did there?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably.
I feel like you're kind of crap on us like we were horrible, but like you did do a lot of
No, you guys
thumb
were
chewing
horrible.
and things.
But I did, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of deserved it,
Yeah.
I think.
Some of it. Some of it.
Now, would you say, do you still have a weak stomach?
It depends. There's some triggers, I'm sure you know what they are.
I don't want to brag, but I can make my brother Josh throw up
Look,
on cue.
listen.
I'm not going to do it now in this
Yeah,
nice, beautiful studio.
I'm
but
asking you just as like a professional courtesy.
I don't have to touch him.
He's 46 years old.
Only,
Our words.
I only have to
can
say
get him to
things.
throw up.
I only have to say stuff.
Well, and some of it is. See, I just thought of one.
Let's
give me a
just say
second.
that on a regular basis growing up, me and Steve got in trouble from our mom for making Josh throw up.
All the way to
I was
school.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
From Delray to Doris Hancock. All the way to school.
how's that my fault that you got a weak stomach?
We were bored.
Well, see, even right now, just
Yeah.
thinking of some things. Let's move on because I'm in a spot.
Now, Steve, one of the things I wanted to talk about today is obviously people see the great bond that you and I have
Okay.
in our battles with Josh and his weakness. But and I know that we always backed each other up. But there was one time when you probably felt like maybe I left you alone, like in a time of need. We were, as I seem to recall, there was a single mom who lived the next street over. And, so we used to look out for people. We weren't always mean, and we tried to do some nice things for people from time to time. And so we went over there to help her fix her sprinklers, right? Tree root growing up, busted her pipe.
Yep, I remember. So we're fixing the sprinklers and got it dug up, cut out what we needed, figured out what we needed to go buy. And so she gave us, $5 to go buy the parts
Probably
that
had
we
to buy
needed.
like $1.90 worth of parts back then.
At the time, you were 16 at least because you were driving. So you had the Camaro, 79
So
Camaro.
you were 13.
And so I'm 13 years old, I guess. And so she'd given us the money. We go, and I think we're getting ready to leave. And I think you said to me, like, "Oh, do you got the money?" And I was like, "No, you have it." And then we're just going back and forth, like, "No, you have it." Well, I'd given it to Mike, but he had apparently set it down and just didn't realize. So
I knew Steve had it in his pocket.
we go to the store and go and get the parts. And then we go to the front. This is Ole's,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah.
Ole's back in the day on Sahara.
On Sahara, West Sahara.
Cash register is right at the front of the store. I'm talking floor to ceiling glass, like you can see everything.
You're looking straight out into the parking lot. So there we are checking out, and as we're going up to the checkout, I remember Mike going, "Hey, give me the money," and I was like, "You have it," and he's like, "No, seriously, give it to me." And we're kind of fighting, and then we're both laughing because we just think that the other one's messing around.
Yeah.
So then we get up, the guy rings it up, and then Mike turns and looks at me, and he's like, "Give me the money."
Pay the man.
And I was like, "I gave it to you. You had it. I've never had it." And so then Mike,
I remembered at that point in time that I probably left it in the car.
no. Okay, no, he's lying.
I
So he
knew in
remembered
this
at that
moment
moment that
it
he
was
left
at
it at
her
the
house.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he says,
That's not what I said, though, right?
quick goat thinking. And
I said, hey, it's out in the car. Let me.
I'll run and grab it.
I'll run and
he
grab
says.
it. You wait here at the register.
So me and the guy at the register stand there and watch Mike walk out to the parking lot, get into his car, start the car, and just drive away. And then the guy turns to me.
I didn't say, hey, Steve, let's come back in a few minutes. Like,
No,
I was
no.
like, no, it's in the car. Knowing damn
like,
well
I
it ain't
don't-
in the car.
It's like, so the guy turns to me and he's like, "Is he coming back?" And I was like, "I hope so." And then there's people behind us in line. This is the only register open. And so I say, "Hey, you can just ring them up if you want to like void
Yeah.
this or whatever."
That's what a normal cashier would do.
The guy says, "Nah, we'll just wait." so all
So
these
I got to
people-
drive a mile to Debbie's house.
It's not crazy far, but
It's a little less, probably 3/4 of a mile.
Back to Mountain
Get the
View.
money.
gets the money.
Yeah, it is on Mountain View.
Yeah.
Drive back to Ole's and
Pulls
I
up
mean-
in front of the store. But instead of walking the money in,
I'm not walking the money.
He's not taking the walk of
That's
shame.
embarrassing. Yeah.
and also he doesn't have a horn because our horn didn't work. So he just starts revving the car really loud. and I look at the guy and he just goes, "I would have done the same thing." And so I had to walk of shame out. Keep in mind, people are still waiting
Listen,
for
how
us.
many guys are behind us?
There's
in
like
line
3
now?
people maybe
They're
waiting.
just waiting
like,
for
just
this guy. I
waiting.
wonder what's taking so
Also,
long.
really interesting. I think times have changed because like I know they must have been pissed, but nobody even said anything.
Yeah.
Like I imagine if that was me, I'd be going, like, "Can
Maybe
you just
they-
check us out?"
Maybe
Like,
they saw like a 13-year-old kid and they had a little compassion on you.
maybe they just
I don't
wanted
know
to see how
what's
this thing
going on.
played out. I don't know. It was kind of interesting.
They were on for the show.
So yeah, there was a few of those instances. I remember there was another time, I shouldn't even bring it up, but I had to drop a deuce at like a grocery store because we were working construction and
Now, let
there
me
was
put
nowhere to
this
go to
up,
the
Steve.
bathroom.
I gotta set the scene
And
for
so,
this. Hold on. Now listen. First of all, me and Steve work together, and we work for our dad's construction company, and so we're working this job where like we just got to go put in our 8. But this guy don't want to wake up. Like this dude. Like it takes me.
I don't do mornings.
I'm his older brother. I'm over there like putting his shoes on, his socks on, or else he won't leave. Right. So we finally get all this stuff on. Right. We drive like 30 minutes over, and when we get there, he's like,
This
"Go
job
back home."
this job site was in the middle of nowhere.
It was.
It was like way up.
was
It
a
was
custom
before
home.
everything. It was right at the
Nothing's
base
by it.
of Lone Mountain, but it was before anything was there.
And probably worth mentioning, it's not like we were like, or you guys rather, were like almost adults. I mean, Mike was probably 16. You were
Yeah.
probably 13 years old at
Correct.
the time.
Correct.
So after a 30-minute drive to get there, as soon as we get there, my man's like, "You gotta take me home. I gotta poop." And I'm like, "Nah, we ain't
And I-
driving
and I
back
only-
home. We don't have that much time."
And I only poop at home. The problem
Well,
is my
that's not
bowels
true
wake up
anymore.
like an hour after I do. So
I understand that.
But anyway, go
And
ahead.
you don't only poop at home.
So
You pooped
No.
in the Godfather's Pizza.
I
you
had to
pooped
learn.
in Albertsons. You pooped in that guy's front yard. Oh,
yeah,
we're talking about it.
that happened multiple times. And one time you made me poop in the front yard. Dug a hole and I pooed in it, and then we just buried it. But
Sorry, bro.
this,
Sorry, Petersons.
This specific time, yeah, it's, exactly. Somebody go dig that up. This specific time, you compromised and said, "I'll drive you to like a grocery store." So we found a grocery store.
Yeah.
It's like 5 a.m. There's
Yeah.
nobody there. So we walk in.
Probably like Cheyenne and 95 somewhere.
It's summertime, so it's really hot, and so we go inside, and they have a
Steve,
bathroom.
would you consider yourself a fast pooper?
I like to take my time.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay. I just
Not
thought that-
anymore. When
think
I was
that-
young, I liked to take
yeah,
my
I think
time.
that's
Now I like to
important for
drop
this
and go.
story.
But so that's regardless, because that's not part of the story. So I'm going to go in and use this bathroom. But we go find the bathroom. It's one of those bathrooms where it's just like a single little room, sink, toilet, and like only one person goes in at a time. but there's no lock on the door, like it's broken. So I'm like, crap, man, you're going to sit down. You're pretty vulnerable at this point. So I was like, hey, just stand out and just guard the door. I don't want somebody walking in on me, like, well, that's not a good look. So he's like,
brother.
yep, I'll be right out here. I'll guard the door. Cool. So I go in, I'm doing my business. After like a minute, this like Mexican guy just walks in. And he like full on walks into the room, and I'm just sitting there, boom. So I'm like, we're like locking eyes, And it's like now it's like
For
hey,
an uncomfortable amount of time.
sitting on the pot, and it's like, and then he's like sees me, and then it's like, I think he wanted to wash it. He's like, he kind of pointed at the sink, like, is it cool if I just wash my hands? And I'm just like, gave him the like, no. And so then he's like, oh, and he leaves. So like, I don't know if that's a cultural thing. I don't know if that's maybe it's just a me thing. So that was super weird. So I finish up. I go, Mike's not outside the door. So I have to go looking for him. He's laying down and sleeping in the like frozen food section aisle because it was nice and cold, I guess.
Nice and cool. It was.
So that's one of the times I learned not to trust my
And he did
brother.
kick me in the ribs.
Yeah, I
to
did.
wake
I
me
did
up.
kick him awake.
So me and Josh both know what that feels like.
Yeah. So, and you deserved it.
Well, he got better at guarding bathrooms, apparently.
Was there any other minority problems in the restroom?
No. So Mike and I flew. This is now as we're like adults, so I don't want to get too far off the beaten path here. But we went down. We flew out to Chicago. We went to a Notre Dame game, so we're flying home. And we were at a super early flight. We get to the airport, and I was like, man, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I go in the bathroom, and I'm sitting in the stall, and like
Number one or number two?
is yes. And so I'm in there, and then I've been in there a couple minutes, and all of a sudden I hear Mike frantic, not like, hey man, like he come in, he's like, Josh, and I go, what? He goes, you okay? I go, yeah. Like, what in the world? And then he goes out, and so I get done, I walk out, I go, what was that?
Listen, this was post 9/11, like very shortly after 9/11. Okay, and maybe I was racially profiling.
He
but
said that he saw
there was an
some
Arab guy who went in the bathroom.
He said he
and
saw
I was a
some
little
Middle
uncomfortable with
Easterner
it.
looking guys walked in the bathroom, and I guess they were going to attack me on the toilet. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got attacked. You've been attacked before. We learned that today by the poodles.
Those are dogs.
Yeah, I didn't want anything to happen to you.
So he got better at guarding the bathroom.
And to be fair, the two guys probably were going in to drop a bomb. It just was
different kind of bomb.
yeah.
They blew it up in a different way.
And reminder, this was like full on adult mode. This was
Yeah.
not Josh
yeah.
was a kid.
Yeah.
All right.
Full adults.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Adults. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's, I don't know where you want to go. But, I mean, there's a ton more stuff in the childhood, but
It's probably good to leave it there for this episode. So we're just going to end it, and we'll just have a part 2. Before we head out, anything?
they don't want to know, like, when you guys just shoot me with BB guns and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's part 2.
Oh, okay.
Poor people got poor ways. Part 2.
Part 2.
Okay. Babysitters.
Babysitters, part 2.
Steve lost his snake. You're
Part
welcome. See that? Well, that's a thing, right? So maybe that was something I deserved a beating for.
That's true. We'll get into that in part
Yeah.
2. All right. So, Allison's been pretty quiet the whole time.
I never get sick of hearing these stories.
Oh, okay,
I'm
fair enough.
entertained.
Well, good episode.
Great episode.
Are you not entertained?
Yes.